Welcome everybody, my name is Michael, and today we're discussing about GOST, Giant Oak. That's right, they're going to be using AI for immigration now. Oh yes. By leveraging information on the open and deep web and applying search parameters focused on behavior, GOST allows government agencies to efficiently generate leads while also preserving privacy. We see the people behind the data. So Giant Oak search technology is now being used by ICE, Immigration Services, for any potential problems with immigrants coming into the country. And we're going to see this all across governments around the world where they're going to be using artificial intelligence. They're already using it. And especially if you look at a nation that has a bunch of cameras, such as the UK or China, where they have cameras on almost every street corner, it can certainly help prevent crime. Or if a crime has happened, there's certainly good elements to it because you can track down those criminals rather quickly. But then you have social credit systems forming. Well, America now, with this Giant Oak search technology, they're scanning social media. So they're looking for potential problems on Twitter posts, on Instagram, and they give you a score, a rating from 1 to 100, how big of a problem you could potentially be. And based off of that, they might do further research into whether they want to kick you out of the country and there's no way you're coming in. Any content deemed derogatory towards the U.S. by the U.S. Customs and Enforcement Agency might lead to a knock at your door, essentially. Now, there's a company called 404 Media that has reported on this. They have ignited concerns regarding privacy, that there could be errors with this, that it's too new yet. And right now, when we take a look at this, if we lived in a utopia and everything was perfect and this technology was very advanced, I could see the benefits of this, but we are still in the early phases of artificial intelligence. That doesn't mean that there's not plenty of good programs out there that can do their job with 99.99% accuracy. But when you're talking about hundreds of millions of people potentially around the world that can get impacted by this, that 0.01% failure rate, or like with that other video where it was 99% accurate, 1% failure rate, we're talking about potentially hundreds of thousands, if not millions of lives that will get impacted by this change. So the score from 1 to 100 is based on the perception of the person's mission from the social media and any deep web post, anything that they can connect. So a lot of people, there was this TikTok, a lot of people were really spooked by this, where people who work in IT showcase that, hey, HR uses this program where they type in your information, just a couple bits of data, maybe your email that you gave them, and that's why you should use a different email for your resumes and applications. And suddenly, boom, that connects to social media. That connects to something else. You click that link. Uh-oh, what's that? Well, we're not going to hire you. And AI is already playing a huge role with human resources and hiring and potentially firing certain individuals because they find out no matter what it is, if it stays on the internet, even if it was 10, 15 years ago, if it is something derogatory that could impact that company's future potential, they're going to fire you. And same thing with governments. They're going to take a look at this. We don't want to deal with this risk. That's it. Bye-bye. Patrick Toomey, the deputy director of the ACLU's National Security Project, has some concerns. Quote unquote, the government should not be using algorithms to scrutinize our social media posts and decide which of us is risky. Agencies certainly shouldn't be buying this kind of black box technology in secret without any accountability. Right now, what are the parameters that they're working with? How can you verify the accuracy? We don't actually know. This is just an assumption that after the AI flags a profile, there's a human at the other end that confirms, yes, this is legitimate, because nothing's perfect yet. Sometimes technology fails. And right now, with geopolitics in massive play, technology is getting better and better, and defense contractors, whether it's for homeland security or whether it's for wars abroad, defense contractors are investing heavily in AI. Meaning, right now, we've had two massive wars recently. A war with Ukraine and Russia, and the war now, potentially, that could ignite a huge spark in the Middle East. We're not going to get into the politics of it, but between Palestine and, between Hamas and Israel. So right now, what's been going on is AI is being used by both sides, and AI will continue to get used by certain companies and bad actors and governments and other states that want to take control, take power, make a lot of money. AI can be used for good and it can be used for bad. This is a little spooky technology, though, especially when you're talking about ranking systems and potentially getting closer to a social credit system. This is not a social credit system. This is far away from that. But the fact that there's already technology being used to analyze your posts, well, first of all, social media companies do that all the time. And for example, recently with what's been going on with Maine, with those unfortunate circumstances, I'm sure you're all aware of what has happened with a certain violence happening. Well, any social media that is related to these bad actors, these criminals, these potentially terrorists, well, they get scrubbed. All their posts are gone. Everything, and that's part of the terms of service, the policy. That's just how it is. People always get surprised. AI is now being used to track other accounts that can be related to those. Anything related, boom, see ya, goodbye. That has been deleted as well. The public remains pretty skeptical of artificial intelligence, though, where 32% of Americans right now believe that AI in HR and in the hiring process can have a major negative impact. And right now, we've already seen it where, for example, with resumes, you go on Reddit and look up everything anti-work and these jobs and other boards related to getting hired, finding employment, HR boards, and people are saying, well, it's so difficult now because you have software where they analyze your CV before it even gets to a human's hands, where even if it does, maybe a top recruiter, top HR performer, they're going to have like 7 seconds with your CV after it passes the AI inspection. But before, probably 99% aren't going to pass because, oh no, it didn't have the right hashtags, the right keywords that they're looking for. Well, this is our job posting, and you have to make sure that your resume is applying all of these keywords that you've used. Otherwise, the program flags it. Sorry, you are denied. Do you have a degree? Just for that checkbox? Nope. Boom! You're going off into the trash pile. Well, people are worried because a job, okay, you don't get the job, but a government's using it for potentially accepting or denying visa applications in the future, or if you're a tourist and trying to travel, or if you're applying for citizenship, that can be a massive problem. Now, the other aspect, devil's advocate. Right now, being someone that has been going through the immigration process, not myself, but my wife, and she's going to become a citizen, it has been challenging during COVID. We had to get an attorney on file. We had to go through a lot of hoops, and there were human errors from the other aspect where someone flagged something, it was wrong. We were very thankful for our attorney. They were able to fix it, but nothing's perfect. Humans aren't perfect. AI's not perfect, and it made the process a lot longer than it should have been. Also, with this, there were associated costs with that. Well, if you take my example and then times 100 million, well, I'm sure there's got to be even worse cases where someone was denied, they didn't have an attorney, and now you've got a program that automatically ruins your potential career prospects, or if you're trying to get out of an unsafe territory to move over to America or any other nation out there, it could be potentially have devastating life consequences. So with devil's advocate, it is problematic because for government, you have a lot of potential risks getting into your country that could lead to terrorist activities or money laundering, any crime or anything that can destroy your government, anything that can destroy your citizens' morale. You have to constantly be analyzing millions upon millions of applications, and there's just not enough people working there. Going through, back to my scenario, there's delays because there's just not enough people working at these centers to approve these applications, and sometimes technology is necessary for speeding it up. The huge factor here is there an assistant who's going to be monitoring this artificial intelligence? And there probably is. So probably people, just like always, getting spooked by technology. Yes, there's some scary thoughts to be had here, but as long as you analyze it and find a solution to that, a big part of it is it operating by itself? Probably not. I hope not. But if there's a lot of people who are monitoring that and maybe it's a fraction of the workers now that are needed that were previously needed, then that's perfect. You are able to save costs while hopefully also increasing efficiency. Well, that's the whole goal of AI, to be more effective at doing its job. So there's the good side and the bad side. We will hopefully down the line have more applications and more applicants who are able to come to the United States and other countries legally. They will be responsible, A-plus, upstanding Class A citizens paying their taxes, whatnot, and hopefully keeping more bad actors out. But as long as the AI is monitored, I'm sure it's going to get monitored. And if it's not monitored right now, it probably will get monitored down the line. There's a set of checks and balances, I hope. But no government's perfect, right? So, I don't know. That's the unfortunate paradox with artificial intelligence, is while artificial intelligence can create a lot of really positive results, it can be extremely precise, 100 million times faster and more effective, going straight to the point where humans may make 10,000 mistakes throughout their lifetime, or if not more, where this AI is constantly working 24/7, getting smarter at a logarithmic scale. I mean, it's just something we can't even comprehend. AI is going to change everything. As long as there's a set of checks and balances and someone's controlling it, and there's always got to be that second backup, the layer behind it. So as long as that's there, is it a bad thing? Not necessarily. But since we're already in its infancy, and AI is a little bit further along in some areas than some people think, but in other areas, it needs time. It needs probably another couple of years, 5, 10, 15 years in certain industries and whatnot. It is something we have to be concerned about as citizens of a government. Is there enough control? Probably. So we'll see. We'll see down the line. But it is something that nevertheless is fascinating at the end of the day, because it's already here. It's already being used. It's crazy to think about. Now we're hearing about it in the news, but it's probably been used for quite some time. So, and it's getting better. It's learning. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Take care, and see you guys in the next one. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe. Have a good one.